Pontiac Silverdome, just moments away from the Class C state championship game between Detroit, St.Martain, Deporres, and Ravenna. The two teams out on the field right now. Deporres stayed out on the field, did not go back to the locker room. Ravenna went in and just came out to a large ovation when they came back out. Mark Crawford and Bill Brandell joining me here for a statistical look at this matchup. First of all, we look at the Ravenna Bulldogs and Deporres, and you can see 35 points a game for Ravenna to 18 for St.Martain Deporres. And on paper, at least, that's a big difference.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a misleading stat, however. St.Martain Deporres plays just about as difficult a schedule as anybody could possibly play in Class D. They play in the Detroit Catholic League, which is difficult. Non-conference games with Bill Maskell, our friends at Galesburg Augusta, only the winningest coach in all of high school football. They play Orchard Lake St. Mary. They play Bishop Gallagher. They play Divine Child, a B school quarterback that I'm sure you're going to talk about later. Three real dangerous players offensively for the Bulldogs.
And once again, I have to agree 100%. The key man, as far as I'm concerned, is Mark Jacobs, who we will talk about in a minute moving around. But he can run the ball, he can throw the ball, he can catch the ball. So he just does it all as far as Ravenna is concerned.
We heard Coach Ron Thompson talk about his senior leader, Cameron Moss, and his leadership qualities with this young team. With now 11 freshmen out there on the roster, 10 coming in. They added another one today. But he can do it on the field as well.
Well, Cameron Moss, I've got down for over 1,400 yards so far this season and 12 touchdowns. So he is an excellent ball player offensively. He also plays some defense, although he won't start defensively. So he's a two-way threat and a runner that I'm sure we're going to see a lot of. Deporres loves to run the ball, and Cameron Moss, he's the one that's going to tote it quite a bit.
And that senior leadership really is critical. 34 players on this Deporres roster, only 7 of them are seniors, so 27 underclassmen who look up to a guy like Cameron Moss.
And they're in the finals already with that kind of youth. We'll talk a little bit more about size and two-way starters when we come back, though, but we're just moments away from the start of the game. You're listening to the MHSAA Championship Network.
And back at the Pontiac Silverdome, our thanks to Rick Berkey for his pregame show. I'm Mark Crawford, along with Bill Brandell, handling color commentary and analysis for this ball game. And rejoining us now as we get set for the Class C championship game, handling play-by-play, John Tomlinson.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good afternoon once again, everybody. State Championship Saturday here at the Pontiac Silverdome. We've seen a couple of good football games already, and we expect nothing less here with this one. Detroit Deporres, of course, with the experience coming into this one. Ravenna for the first time ever in playoff contention, and they make it all the way to the state championship game. That's got to tell you they got something that they've never had before, and hopefully they can show Deporres that it's something better than Deporres has. Quarterback situation with Detroit Deporres.
Well, musical quarterbacks on both sides, perhaps here and for different reasons. Deporres has had a lot of injuries. Their top 2 quarterbacks went down with injury, and Dion Norman, a freshman, was rumored to be starting this ball game until about 20 minutes ago. Now we hear Robert Jamerson, number 12, who's been the starter all year long, has a bum shoulder, but will start this football game.
The freshman, Dion Norman, 5'4", 125 pounds. But I was watching him. He was moving rather quickly. Everybody I talked to about this ballgame says that the whole key to the game is if Ravenna can be quick enough to play with Deporres.
And Dion Norman may not start at quarterback, but he's out here on kickoff return team.
All right, Ravenna will be kicking off to Deporres. This Class C game is underway. A low and over-end kick, taken at about the 17, 18-yard line, out to the 20, the 25. Across the 25, he gets to the 30-yard line. Cameron Moss, the ball carrier, and is down there immediately. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the first time for Deporres Eagles, the blue and gold, against the royal blue and white.
And Robert Jamerson is sprinting out onto the field. Bill, you and I were both looking for the same thing.
Exactly. He has had the shoulder injury, but he's in there to start this ball game.
Jamerson is, of course, the senior. Now, where's number 12? Up under center, I formation. Powers on the left side. Here's a snap, handoff straight up the middle. Second man through. No running room at all. Brian McFerrin, the 5'8", 173-pound senior nose guard, did an excellent job of containment there. No running room at all for Cameron Moss.
And you're going to call that name quite a bit, as we have a set of twins in this ball game for the Bulldogs from Ravenna. Scott McFerrin, number 60. Brian McFerrin, number 54. They're at tackle and at noseman.
And they are the 2 leading tacklers on this club. Both of them average about 10 per game.
So you folks can get used to the McFerrin name, that's for sure. Adrian Edwards goes wide to the left side. I formation in the backfield. Jamerson under center, calling signals. Handoff, big hole, left side. Quick opener out across the 35 to the 44-yard line. And a real good hole open up quick. Mark Jacobs with a touchdown-saving tackle there for Ravenna.
Rick Berkey, Bill, and I talked a little about Cameron Moss in the pregame show, but there's another guy in the backfield who's gained 1,000 yards this year. It's Shannon McLean, the sophomore who just busted that one up the middle. So not one, but 2 1,000-yard rushers in the Deporres backfield.
Eagles break out of it, pitch it out over the football. I formation in the backfield. Wing is on the left side, wide receiver left. Jamerson calling signals. Here's the snap, handoff right side. A little bit of running room for Moss. Gets away from one man, still on his feet at the 50, across the 50, and down to the 47-yard line. Now, for the first time in Bulldog territory, Mark Jacobs again on the stop defensively for the Ravenna Bulldogs. I happen to live in DeWitt, north of Lansing, and of course, as you know, DeWitt got beat last Saturday by this Deporres team, and my son plays basketball for the DeWitt Panthers, not football, but he and his buddies, I was talking to him about the game, and they said, we just could not stop their quickness.
Well, there was an excellent example of it right there as Mr. Cameron Moss did a little juke step around the defensive end and came outside and just turned the jets on as soon as he got rolling north and south here and got right up close to that first down. And as they measured for that yardage, it is a first down for Deporres.
Some pretty big boys on that offensive line for Detroit as well. They go 250 and 220 at the tackles, 185 and 280 at the guards, and 220 at the center. And they're just not big. They're fast. Straight T backfield now for the Deporres Eagles. Jamerson under center, calling signals. Here's a snap, handoff. Moss going left. Gets across the 45, inside the 45 at the 43-yard line. And it'll be a second down now. Gain of about 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6 for the Eagles. Just getting underway in this Class C state championship ball game. Detroit Deporres on the opening possession has moved now to the 43-yard line of Ravenna. Straight T backfield, 2 tight ends and a balanced line. Jamerson up under center, calling signals. Here's the snap. Handoff, first man through, straight up the middle. No running room at all. Trying to dance and pull his way, but Brian McFerrin and Jeff Heiss were right there along with Mark Jacobs to make the stop.
Well, the Bulldog defense is really committed against the run versus Deporres right here early in this contest. That time, John, about 9 people right up on the line of scrimmage. I could see 1 defensive back and 1 linebacker about 3 yards off the ball. Everybody else right up there in the face of the Eagle offensive line.
3rd and 7 for the Eagles. They break the huddle. 2 tight ends and a balanced line once again. Wing is on the left side. Split backs in the backfield. Jamerson under center, calling the signal. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to the right side. Running room across the 40 to 35. First down yardage. It's that off tackle play, and Jamel McKinney and Alex Johnson, the guard and tackle over there, doing the job. Steve Crawley and Jeff Burrows on the stop defensively, but not before the ball carrier picked up first down yardage just inside the 35-yard line.
Well, one of the things that's very dangerous for the Bulldogs of Ravenna right now is that Deporres is about 1 tackler away from breaking one of these.
Wide to the left side goes Adrian Edwards. Everybody else stays in tight. I formation in the backfield. That's McLean, Colson, Moss deep. Wing on the left side is Clark. Handoff straight up the middle once again. Little or no running room on that one. Number 38, the ball carrier, Shannon McLean. We got 2 1,000-yard rushers in the backfield here for the Deporres Eagles. 2nd down, 7 yards to go for the first down. Deporres on the opening drive just outside the 30-yard line of Ravenna. Edwards goes wide left again. Wing is on the left side. I formation in the backfield. McLean close and Moss deep. Quarterback Jamerson calls the signals. Here's the snap, handoff. Left side, Moss. No running room at all. Good defensive play that time by Jeff Burrows. Coming up from that outside linebacker position and stopping that one cold. It'll remain 3rd down now and 7 yards to go.
Cameron Moss seemed to take a little stumble that time as he tried to get those feet moving going forward. And Jeff Burrows, as you mentioned, John, right from that linebacker position, just enough time for him to fill the hole and come up in there quick.
Pritchett leads him out of the huddle, out over the football. Mills and Johnson are the guards. Baker and McKinney are the tackles. Wing is on the left side, wide receiver left, I formation in the backfield. Back to pass, looking downfield. Jamerson throws up a long one towards the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown! A beautiful catch that time by number 23, Damaris Clark. And Damaris hauls it in over the outstretched arms of the defender, Mark Jacobs, who had nothing but to put his arms up in the air and hope for a deflection. 32 yards on the touchdown pass play from the senior Robert Jemerson to the fine running back junior, 5'8", number 23, Damaris Clark. So the opening drive proved successful for St.Martain Deporres. They're up 6-0. They'll go for a two-point conversion here. Power eye to the right side. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to the right side, and it's no good. And that was the freshman quarterback, Dion Norman, handing it off. 7:10 remaining in the first period. Deporres on top, 6-0. We'll be back in just a moment after we remind you that one of our network sponsors is Denny's on this, the MHSAA Championship Football Network. Cameron Moss's kickoff for Deporres goes out of bounds. That'll cost him 5, and he'll have to re-kick it as Jeff Heiss and Mark Jacobs back there awaiting the kickoff just watched it go out of bounds. In fact, he had to go borrow a tee, in fact, from the Ravenna team before kicking it. Cameron Moss did.
Well, at first, the Eagles from Deporres were going to just hold the ball up on one of the players' toes there to kick it off, and the officials said, nope, we don't do that. And the Eagles going over to the other team's bench and said, can we borrow your kicking tee? And sure enough, another sign. Good sportsmanship. Both teams out here displaying, and we'll kick this one over again.
Well, if there was ever any question that St.Martain Deporres could move the football, I guess that was answered on the opening drive. He'll try it again. Moss gets it up high, end over end kick. Heiss will take it at the 15-yard line, out to the 20, the 25, the 30, cuts away from one man, 35-40, still on his feet around the 40-yard line. And Ravenna will have good field position. They'll start in their own territory at the 40-yard line. Michael Sims and Steve Ains makes the stop defensively on special teams. And so we'll see what the Bulldogs can do with the football.
And it's going to be very interesting. Mark Jacobs is the starting quarterback. He's an all-stater. Rod Place is the starting split end, number 13. And every now and then, Dusty Fairfield, the head coach, just flip-flops those two guys out here on the field and lets Place play quarterback and Jacobs go to split end.
Jacobs underneath center now in a power I formation. Right hand off to the right side. Heiss the ball carrier. Little or no running room off that right side as he's stacked up for no gain right around the 39-yard line. Andre Davis and Darrell Wilson on the stop defensively for St.Martain Deporres. Ravenna Bulldogs in the state championship game, winning their first league title, and of course moving on from there. Wide to the right side goes Place. Everybody else is in tight power I formation to the left. Jacobs under center calls the signals. Here's the snap, handoff left side. No running room again. St.Martain Deporres controlling that line of scrimmage. Randy Huggins, the junior nose guard, getting in, making the initial contact that time. And it'll be no gain again, 3rd and 10. So if this is what we're to see throughout the evening, it's going to be a long night for Ravenna because they have not been able to control the line of scrimmage at all.
Well, Ron Thompson describes his defense as a 29 defense, and I'm not exactly sure what that is. He has 2 people that are down, and that's about all I've figured out about it so far.
Back to pass, looking downfield. Jacobs getting a lot of pressure. Now he's going to run with it. We'll throw it up over the middle into a crowd of blue, and the wrong color blue. There was only one white jersey in there, that being the intended receiver, Kevin Poffenberger. And Poffenberger could not come up with it. It was deflected away. It's going to be 4th down in a punting situation now for the Ravenna Bulldogs.
Well, Mark Jacobs running for his life back there. He's lucky he's a southpaw to begin with, allows him to throw that football, but he threw it into quadruple coverage, and Mark Jacobs probably should have held on to that football.
He'll do the punting as well as he stands around his own 25-yard line. Snap, flags, we'll see. Must have been movement on the inside of the line. It looks like it's going to go against Deporres. And we'll see what the call might be.
Bill, I'm not too sure what that Deporres Eagle 29 defense means either. I was watching it like you were, and the two tackles are down, 210-pound Chris Brown and 220-pound Rupert Mann. Then there's like 5 players who are standing on the line of scrimmage, including Franciscus Mills, the 280-pound linebacker, and the all-stater Shannon McLean. So they got 7-8 guys up there near the line of scrimmage. I suppose they can go forward, go backward, go any way they want.
We'll try it again. 5 yards marked off against Deporres. Jacobs gets off a real good kick. It's fielded at the 19-yard line. Moss gets away from one man, still on his feet, dancing around, and tackled hard from behind out around the 27-yard line. Good job on the tackle by Steve Crowley, the sophomore, 5'9", 154-pounder from Ravenna, makes the stop.
Steve Crowley, a picture of perseverance that time, as he was first down the field, missed the tackle, had a second shot and missed him, and kept on working, and finally caught up with Cameron Moss and made the stop.
39 yards on the punt, about 7 on the run back. It'll be 1st and 10 Deporres in their own territory. They start at the 29-yard line. And again, it's Jamerson at quarterback. Straight T backfield. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to the right side. Still on his feet, gets away from one man, and then is hit very, very hard. Damaris Clark, the ball carrier, almost danced his way out of there. Dale Randall and Mark Jacobs finally corral him and bring him down, but he did gain a couple of yards. They'll mark his forward progress out across the 30 at the 32. It'll be 2nd and 7 now.
Already it's easy to see the extreme quickness for the Deporres Eagles. The backs just get to the hole so quick.
It's interesting as to how close they line up to the line also. Handoff straight up the middle. Bouncing off tacklers and still fighting on his feet. The big fullback, I believe it's Shannon McLean. We'll see as they unstack. It was just a sophomore, 6'1", 210. Very hard to bring down. Jacobs again on the stop defensively. And Dale Randall. But boy, when they hit that hole, they just don't go down.
Shannon McLean's looking like a big-time prospect with that kind of run, boy. Kept the feet churning, and he's a big, strong kid. You mentioned 210 pounds, and he's only a sophomore.
Pritchett leads him out of the huddle, out over the football now. 3rd and about a yard for the Eagles. I formation in the backfield. Jamerson calling the signals. Here's the snap, handoff left side, Cameron Moss. Moss will be very close to 1st down yardage. Depends on where they mark it, and I believe he got it real close to the 40-yard line. It is 1st and 10 again. Steve Crowley and Jeff Heiss on the stop defensively for Ravenna.
Well, we talked earlier about the experience of this Deporres squad, but there are 5 freshmen that play an awful lot of football for Deporres. I think there are 6 that have started at one time or another, so although their team has been in the playoffs many times, this squad is not necessarily playoff-wise.
Straight T backfield for the Eagles. Here's the snap. Jamerson hands off. Running left. Running room for Clark. Damaris Clark is driven out of bounds up around the 45, 46-yard line again by Mark Jacobs. And when you hear us calling Mark Jacobs' name so much, you really don't want your guy that's playing in the defensive safety or cornerback position to be making that many tackles. But so far, that's the way it's been.
Well, the quickness of those Deporres backs, they're through that first line of defense in a hurry, and then the second line better get to them quicker. They're gone.
Straight T again, 2 tight ends in a balanced line. Here's the snap. Jamerson hands off left. Cameron Moss, the ball carrier. Little or no running room, gets up to around the 50-yard line, but he'll be short of the 1st down. He needs to get to the midfield stripe. They'll mark it about the 49, so it's going to come up to be a 3rd and 1.
Big hit that time by Scott Gierzak, number 20, 5'8", 190-pound sophomore for Ravenna. So the Ravenna Bulldogs have a couple of underclassmen who play critical roles for their club as well.
Here's the snap on 3rd and short. Still battling back there, trying to get that 1st down yardage, and I believe he did. Good hard running once again. As we commented earlier, Shannon McLean, the 6'1", 210-pound sophomore, was not to be denied.
Well, hard as the Deporres running backs are running the ball, I give Ravenna some credit for some good, crisp, tough tackling, too, as that time McLean kept churning the legs again, and one of the Ravenna players got his hands up around the shoulder and just collared him.
1st and 10, Deporres. Handoff right side, Cameron Moss, the ball carrier. still on his feet, but out of bounds now at the 35-yard line. So Cameron Moss turning on the burners that time. Kevin Poffenbarger and Jeff Burrows on the stop defensively, but a flag on the play.
Flag will give me a chance, John, to mention, you know, Bill and I are from Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids area, and this is an officiating crew we've seen time and time again this year. Reynolds, Klein, Cook, Shepard, and Watkins out of the Battle Creek and Marshall area. Good bunch.
Holding will be the call, and it goes against St.Martain Deporres, and that will back them up a bit. Maybe just what the doctor ordered for Ravenna to slow this Deporres machine down just a little bit. Deporres, of course, leading in the contest 6-0 with 2:13 remaining here in the first period, and have really not been denied yet when they've had possession of the football. They've picked up 5 first downs and 6 points in 2 drives. This is their second one, and it's still alive. However, they're now facing a 1st and 19. Adrian Edwards wide to the left side, I formation in the backfield, wing is on the left side. Here's the snap, handoff up the middle. McLean, the ball carrier, and he stopped after a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards on that play. Coming up with a stop, Brian McFerrin and Scott McFerrin. A couple of twin brothers in on the stop defensively there for the Ravenna Bulldogs.
You just can't say enough about the quickness for Deporres. It almost looks as though they're offside. The backs are into the hole so quick. And, John, you've mentioned they line up so tight to the offensive line that they're there before you can even blink.
I formation once again. Here's the snap, back to pass. Jamerson looking downfield, cocks his arm, lets one go. It's complete. Adrian's got it way on the left side, tries to get away, and he'll be tackled very, very close to that first down stick. We'll see where they mark it.
Well, at one time, I think Adrian Edwards had the first down, and then he tried to break loose and get around the defender and went backwards a little bit, and they're going to mark it that his forward progress was enough for the first down, and Deporres makes up for that first penalty that had moved them back a little bit.
They did give them the first down. We have the number 12 on the field for Ravenna, but no 12 listed in the program. So that's our mystery player for the moment. Handoff straight up the middle this time. Dante Watson, the ball carrier, a 165-pound junior. He'll pick up about 5 yards and bring a 2nd and 5 situation. Really, Deporres has been able to be successful in whatever they've tried. Jamerson, of course, hitting the 32-yard touchdown play via the pass, and picking up a very big first down just moments ago via the pass, and really been able to run just about wherever they want to thus far in the football game. 2 tight ends in a balanced line, straight T backfield, wing is on the right side. Here's the snap, pitch back, coming around this way, Cameron Moss again, gets away from one man, but is blasted. And number 24 coming up from his linebacker position, Jeff Heiss.
Excellent play by Jeff Heiss that time. He saw the play immediately and just came like a cannon shot right through the hole and nailed the running back Cameron Moss. Super play.
Well, he had great defensive position, Mark, as he came from that linebacker spot inside and was able to have an inside angle on the ball carrier. There was no place to cut back, and he put a shoulder in him when he got there.
Lost 1, maybe 2 yards. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 situation. Ball resting right on the 35-yard line of Ravenna. Deporres with it. Handoff right side. Clark, the ball carrier, and he'll get it down to around the 30, but short of first down yardage. Mark Jacobs, the 6'3", 190-pound senior cornerback and quarterback, makes the tackle on that play. He's made quite a few. That's the end of the first period, ladies and gentlemen. The score, St.Martain Deporres 6, Ravenna nothing. We'll be right back on this, the MHSAA Football Championship Network. Live from the Pontiac Silverdome, John Tomlinson, Mark Crawford, and Bill Brandell for your pleasure on this, the State Championship Saturday for high school action here. It's Class C this time around. St.Martain Deporres with the lead right now over Ravenna 6-0. Deporres has the ball. 4th and 2 yards to go. 4th and 2. And they're going for it at about the 30-yard line of Ravenna. Jamerson up under center, I formation, hands off, second man through. Cameron Moss, I don't believe he got it. He needed to get inside the 29-yard line, and I don't think he got there. He did not. meeting him right there. Brian McMahon right in the center of the line. And that gives something for the Ravenna crowd to cheer about. The Ravenna crowd here in many more numbers than the Deporres crowd, but haven't had a lot to cheer about thus far.
Well, so far they haven't had the football. They had it one time back there in the first quarter, got off 3 poor plays, that was it.
Here they go again, I formation right, back to pass, looking downfield. Jacobs throws it up over the middle, incomplete and overthrown.
Did you notice it was the flip-flop? Rod Place came out and played quarterback. They threw to Mark Jacobs.
You know, and you warned me before. You said they're going to do that on you, Rick Burke. You did. I said, hey, they did.
They did.
You got to be quick to catch that.
And our crowd reacting a little bit to some contact downfield with one of the receivers. The ball thrown well over his head, but there was some contact, and the Ravenna crowd here wanting to have a flag thrown, but really the pass not able to even be touched by anybody out there.
This time it is, in fact, Mark Jacobs under center as Rod Place goes wide to the left side, power eye to the right. Here's the snap. Handoff on the right side. No, it's a keeper by Jacobs. He's got a little running room, 30, 35, 40. He'll be short of the first down out around the 39-yard line. Good job of faking inside that time by Mark Jacobs, Andre Davis, number 15, and Darrell Wilson, number 8, on the stop defensively for Deporres.
Well, Mark Jacobs there showing us a little bit of that rushing ability that he's got. He's got 16 TDs rushing this year. That to go with his passing and his reception stats, a total of 28 touchdowns on the season. But as we said in our pregame, he can run it, he can throw it, he can catch it.
We'll see what he does with it here. Power eye to the left side. Third down short, handoff right side. And it should be good enough for a first down. Battling his way forward, Jeff Heiss, the 170-pound senior, has 1,227 yards in the regular season. Fran Mills was there to meet him, as was Charles Williams and Lamar Johnson. But Mr. Heiss picks up the first down of the afternoon for the Ravenna Bulldogs. Short.
Going to be very close.
Boy, they gave him a left foot mark on that one then, because he was well across that chalk line. And it's hard to tell from up here, too, where the ball should be spotted, but I was quite certain he had the first down.
You're right.
He does. So, the Bulldogs looking to get something going here. Dusty Fairfield, in his second year of coaching, has a 15-3 record. And it must be pretty nice in your second year to make it all the way to the premier game in your class. They switch quarterbacks again. As Rod Place is up under center, Mark Jacobs goes wide to the left side. Power eye to the right. Here's the snap, back to pass. Place looking downfield, throws it up over the middle. Complete to Jacobs. 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Ravenna Bulldogs. 59 yards. As Rod Place comes in at quarterback and throws one up to the other quarterback, Mark Jacobs. And that brings the Ravenna crowd to their feet.
Well, that was a thing of beauty as Rod Place switching in there at the quarterback spot, took that snap, dropped back, had some pressure at the last moment, but kept his poise and just rifled the ball down the middle to Mark Jacobs, who was coming from that split end position. He came across the middle, got about a half a step behind the defender, took it in, was touched at the foot, but able to keep his balance and on into the end zone for the 6.
Here's the extra point attempt. It's up, and it is good. With 10:32 remaining, Ravenna has taken the lead 7-6 here in the first half of play. And we'll remind you that one of our network sponsors is Farm Bureau on this, the Michigan High School Athletic Association Football Championship Network. Well, that play will definitely add a little fuel to the Ravenna Bulldog fire. A 59-yard touchdown pass. And they're on the board with the extra point. They lead at 7-6. Here's the Place's kickoff. It'll be taken by Adrian Edwards at the 20, out to the 25, the 30, now at the 35. And that's where it'll end, right there, about the 34-yard line. And that's where St.Martain Deporres will take it over.
Well, John, they just brought us the statistics from the first quarter to tell you how little those mean at this stage. Time of possession, 10 minutes, 12 seconds for Deporres, 148 for Ravenna. Total yards, 120 for Deporres, none for Ravenna. All that doesn't matter now as Ravenna's on the board. They lead 7-7.
Detroit Deporres with the football now. I formation. Here's the snap. Back to pass. Looking downfield. Jamison throws up that long left hand way down the field and much overthrown for Adrian Edwards.
Well, Deporres kind of a surprise now to start this offensive possession, going to the air very quickly. We've already mentioned they like to run the ball. Definitely they can throw it, but they would prefer to run it. Ravenna's defense stiffened the last time they had the ball and possibly will cause a little change in game plan for the Eagles.
2nd and 10 now for the Eagles as they break out of the huddle. Pritchard out over the football. Mills and Johnson of the guards. Baker McKinney the tackles. I formation in the backfield. Edwards is split wide left. Wing is on the left side. They got the Jamison calling the signals and no running room at all. Good job defensively that time by Dale Randall.
Well, Randall from that defensive end position that time was just sitting there and waiting for the ball carrier. Either somebody missed a block or something was wrong there because nobody came out for him, and he took advantage of that.
Loss of about a yard. We'll call it 3rd and 11. Ball at the 34-yard line. Deporres in their own territory, trailing in the contest 7-6. Here's the snap. Back to pass. Jamison looking downfield. Lets one go up over the middle. Incomplete off the outstretched fingertips of Demarest Clark. Back there on the coverage with them, Mark Jacobs and Rod Place.
Well, the Bulldogs that time laid a hit on Mr. Jamison. He's not soon to forget.
So it'll be 4th down. St.Martain Deporres with it now. And that was, in fact, loud and clear for me. Having a little technical problem with one of the headsets, but it was coming over fine for me. Here's the snap. High end over rank kick coming down. It'll be taken at about the 35-yard line by Mark Jacobs, and he is unable to advance the football, and that's where Ravenna will start it. 32-yard punt that time for Deporres. Their first one of the contest.
Well, defensively, we'll see Deporres take over again that way, and we're still trying to figure out the 29 Eagle defense. And we know that I think the 2 refers to the 2 down people, and the 9 must refer to everybody else, and you're just not sure where the rest of them are going to be. Some of them stand up, some of them are inside, some of them are outside, and they just move around.
Here's the option coming to the right side by Ravenna. Jeff Heiss has a little bit of running room, but boy, is he popped at the 35-yard line by Lamar Johnson and Jeff Burrows. Rather, Lamar Johnson leading the charge on that, number 44, and really put a shot that time into the ball carrier.
Well, Lamar Johnson made the big hit, but Jeff Heiss didn't fumble the football. One of the real keys for this Ravenna team all year long, regular season, just 4 turnovers in 9 games. 2 fumbles, 2 pass intercepts.
We've got a new quarterback again, Rod Place up under center. As Jacobs goes wide to the left side, Place back to pass, and he'll be sacked. Getting through there on another good defensive play, Lamar Johnson.
Well, once again, Lamar Johnson coming from what we'll describe as a linebacker position, but he comes from just about anywhere. Been watching him in particular, and he'll line up as a linebacker. Sometimes he's right up on the line of scrimmage. Sometimes he's out like an outside linebacker or a defensive end. Just a lot of movement, a lot of different looks by this Eagle defense that Coach Ron Thompson calls his 29.
Loss of 10 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 18. The ball spotted at about the 26-yard line. Man in motion, Burrows. Now rolling to the left side is Mark Jacobs looking to pass. Throws it up over the middle. Incomplete. Throw it a little bit behind his tight end, Tim Houston. Tim, the 5'10 junior, just couldn't quite get a handle on it, and it'll be a punting situation for Ravenna. They've had 1 punt so far today, a 39-yarder. We'll see what they do with this one. Better get a good foot into it, or Deporres will come up with pretty good field position. That's always a threat for sure when anytime he gets his hands on the football, especially in the open field. Jacobs gets the boot away. It's a wobbler, but a good one. Fair catch is called for. He fumbles the football, and Ravenna will get it. Cameron Johnson called for a fair catch, couldn't handle it, and right there to cover it up was number 1, Steve Crowley. A big break for Ravenna. 38-yard gain on the punt, fair catch, fumble. And Ravenna has it at the 31-yard line of St.Martain Deporres.
Cameron Moss way back to catch that punt, and the punt was very high and one of those Knuckler-type balls. It was not a spiral. Well kicked, but not a spiral. Not used to the type, Cameron Moss not used to that type of the ball floating in there, and he juggled it, and boy, the Bulldogs take advantage of a turnover.
Power eye to the left. Quarterback under center, hands off right side. Heist has got running room. He's down to the 25, the 20, still on his feet inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. A quick opener for Jeff Heist from Mark Jacobs, and Darrell Wilson had a hold of him and would not let go. Gain of 17 yards on the play. First and 10, Ravenna inside the 15 at the 14-yard line.
Bulldogs showing a little speed of their own. Here's Jeff Heist, who's right up the middle, gets those legs moving, and he shows some real good quickness.
Wide to the left side now. Rod plays. Power eye formation to the right. Up under center. Here's the snap. Handoff. Second man through is Heist again.
And that time the Eagle defense just stacks them up there in the middle. Once again, there's just so many people moving around. You hate to put a label on what that defense is other than the 29 that Coach Ron Thompson calls it. A lot of different looks up there. That time confused the offensive line blocking for the Eagles.
Ravenna with the football, 2nd and 10, just inside the 14-yard line. They break out of the huddle now. Ed Lewis out over the football. McFerrin and McFerrin are the guards. Knapp and Deal are the tackles. Two tight ends. Another tight end on the left side. Here's the snap. Handoff rolling out to the left side. He's going to keep it. Jacobs got a little running up to 15, down the 10, inside the 10. Pokes his way down to the 8-yard line. And they'll bring up a 3rd and short.
Well, Mark Jacobs on that rollout situation there had a blocker out in front of him, rolling to his offensive left side, and he had a little bit of a decision to make there. He chose to take it back inside, brought the ball all the way to about the 8-yard line, and just an excellent run again by Mark Jacobs.
3rd and 3. The ball is at the 8-yard line. They need to get just inside the 5 for a first down, and of course 8 yards for a touchdown. Ravenna leading in the contest 7-6 over St.Martain Deporres, and threatening to add to that lead right here.
Well, Darrell Wilson, number 8, was in on the tackle there and was a little slow to get up, and he just came out of the ball game. Seems to be all right as he's standing on the sidelines, but a little shaken up there, putting the hit on Mark Jacobs.
Rod Place goes wide to the left. It's a power eye to the left. Tight end on the left side. Here's the snap. Rolling out to the right side is Jacobs. He's going to run with it. He's down close to the first down, and no, he is denied at about the 6-yard line, and a good defensive effort that time by Lamar Johnson and Steve Haynes coming up, but Johnson really put the shot on him that kept him from lunging ahead to the 5-yard line. So it will be 4th down, and they're short of the first down by about a yard. The ball is placed on the right hash mark.
Bulldogs have a good kicking game, and I'm sure Dusty Fairfield will go ahead and settle for the 3 points here. Rod Place will come in, and he's 41 of 45 on the extra points. He's made both of the field goals he's tried this year, so wrong again.
How do you say wrong again? Place comes to the right side. Power eye left right now. 4th and short, Ravenna. Here's the snap. Hand off to the right side. Heist lunges forward, and they'll mark it inside the 5. It's going to be close. It depends on the spot. We'll see. He needed to get inside the 5 to about the 4.5, and it looks like that's about where it is, and we'll see how they spot it.
Well, this one's going to be really close as the official first put his foot down and then adjusted it as to the other official that had spotted where the ball goes, and the ball is just over the 5-yard line, and as John said, this one's going to be close. They are now stretching the chains.
Everybody huddled around it looking and seeing. Yes, they made it. Ravenna makes the first down.
Oh, that one must have been just by a fraction of an inch, because neither side, the players jumped up and down, nobody making a call, just waiting for the official to make a decision.
Well, our friend Tom Reynolds is handling the call down there, the referee, and he looked at the ball from one side and walked around it and looked at it from the other side, and you're right, that one was close.
4:38 remaining in the first half of play. Ravenna with a 1.76 lead, and threatening to add to it now. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. Power eye left. Place is split to the right side. Back to pass. Jacobs looking in the end zone. Wide open. Touchdown, Steve Crowley.
Oh. What a juggle that time. Number one in there making that reception. Steve Crowley just juggled it about 3 times, had it up in the air a couple of times. Mark, the official standing right there in front of him, waiting to give the touchdown signal, punching it in the end zone, but just couldn't. He wanted to, he wanted to, he wanted to. Finally got possession, did Steve Crowley for the 6 points.
Rod Place will come on now to attempt the kick, the extra point. Here's the snap. It's placed, it's kicked, it's up, and it is good. So with 4:16 remaining in the first half, Ravenna 14, Detroit Deporres 6 on this, the NHSAA Championship Football Network. Cameron Moss with the football, coming down the field, out across the 25 to the 30 to the 31-yard line. And that's where Detroit Deporres will take it over now after trailing, as they are now trailing 14-6, something that you got to believe Deporres is not used to doing, especially in the playoffs.
Well, Deporres has come into this ball game definitely a favorite. I think everybody just kind of automatically suggests that Deporres was going to go away with the championship. I don't think that Ravenna, the Bulldogs, believe that, as they have come out here fired up and have shown some excellent offensive football.
Well, not only did everybody in the stands and all of the press think that Deporres was the favorites, Ron Thompson kind of breeds that attitude. He talks about his kids all believing that coming out to every game, they're 2 touchdowns better than anybody they play. And I believe you're right. I think they came out here expecting to win this game, and it's got to be a little surprise for Deporres right now to be behind.
Well, we'll see what they can do about it. Want to remind you, while we've got some time with 4:05 remaining here in the first period of play, that you can have your own copy of your favorite Class A, B, C, or D state championship game on video cassette. All you need to do is send 3365 to Football Finals Tape, Pontiac Silverdome, 1200 Featherstone, Pontiac, Michigan, 48057, being produced by the folks here at the Dome, and of course promoted by the Michigan High School Athletic Association. A good way to support the association and have a great gift for someone at Christmas. Well, St.Martain Deporres will have the football. They send Stephen Haynes wide to the left side here as we're about ready to get underway again. 1st and 10 in their own territory at the 30-yard line with 4:05 remaining in the first half. Trailing in the contest 14-6. Deporres took the opening kickoff, marched right down the field on a 32-yard pass that capped it off with the touchdown. Their 2-point conversion was unsuccessful. Here's the snap, right up the middle. Shannon McLean really battling and churning those legs, just refusing to go down. Picks up a couple on his own. Brought down in there by Scott McFerrin and Jeff Heiss. Gained about 4 yards on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 6.
Well, for a moment, I thought the ball had been fumbled. There was an awful lot of movement and people diving around down there, but Deporres is going to hang on to it, bring up that 2nd down, about 6.
Haynes wide to the left side once again. I formation, the backfield wing is on the left side. Quarterback up under center, calling signals, back to pass. Jamerson looking downfield, cocks his arm, throws once, complete at midfield, and it's a race to the sideline that time, and a flag will go down. Rod Place on the tackle, Damaris Clark on the reception. Gain of 23 yards on that pass play from Jamerson to Clark, and we'll see what the penalty is all about.
We've also got a Deporres player injured out there, John, and I'm not sure exactly who it is.
I tell you, I think it's Franciscus Mills, I think. The big all-stater.
6'5", 280-pound senior is down on the turf at around the 30-yard line. We've still got a penalty to deal with back up here around the 45. Deporres moving from our right to our left in possession of the football, and the penalty will go against Ravenna, and it's a flagrant foul of some sort, as it's costing them 15 yards, and it certainly had something to do with Rod Place and Damaris Clark, because the flags were thrown to the football now on 1st and 10 for the Eagles inside the 30 at the 29 of Ravenna. Ravenna leading in the contest 14-6. I formation. Here's the snap. Handoff straight up the middle. A little bit of running room for McLean, but flags on the play. It will not count as a play. They'll have to do it again, and I believe the penalty is going to go against St.Martain Deporres. Illegal procedure it is, and 5 yards will be stepped off.
Well, that was a snap, I believe, that came a little bit too quick. Roland Pritchett at center there as he went back, kind of slapping himself on the thigh and on the side of the head. I think he snapped the ball on the wrong count, and I don't believe that the Deporres offensive line was set.
Wide to the left side, Stephen Haynes. I formation in the backfield. Wing is on the left side. Jamerson up under center, calling signals. Step back to pass. Cocks his arm, good protection. Throws it up over the middle. It's complete at the 15-yard line. Stephen Haynes cutting in front of the defender. Hauls it in. Rod Place there to tackle him, but not before a gain of 19 yards and a first down for St.Martain Deporres at the 16-yard line. Clock down to 2:47 in the first half now. Ravenna leading Deporres 14-6. Wide to the left side as Deporres breaks out of the huddle now. Waiting on the officials to get things rolling here. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles. The ball just outside the 15-yard line. High formation. Wing is on the left side. Jamerson looking. Here's the snap. Hands off. First man through. Shannon McLean, the sophomore, 210-pounder, gets inside the 15, down to around the 14-yard line. Pickup of a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8. Tackle made in there by Dale Randall and Clark Cantola defensively for Ravenna. Off the bench and into the contest, Dante Watson for Deporres, bringing in the play from Coach Ron Thompson's brain trust on the sideline. Same formation. Jamerson calling signals, back to pass, good protection, cocks his arm, throws it up, complete at the 12, the 10, down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line goes Shannon McLean. Rod Place brought him down, and McLean had the end zone on his mind.
Well, Robert Jamerson just kind of stepping back that time. He's 6'3". He's got great vision on the field and was able to pick out his receiver that time, floated out there softly, and great pickup, got the first down for the Eagles.
1st and goal, Detroit Deporres at the 4-yard line of Ravenna. Here's the snap. Handoff, first man through. That's Shannon McLean fighting his way down and gets to about the 3 or 2-yard line, and that's about it. Shannon McLean is a tough person to tackle, let me tell you that.
Well, Shannon McLean just got right in behind those big linemen and stuck his face mask in the back of one of his offensive linemen and just tried to follow the flow there. Got it all the way down to the 2. The substitution in the game for Deporres, Franciscus Mills still sitting on the sideline. Ira Neal came in, and Deporres lost 100 yards in that exchange on the line.
100 pounds.
What'd I say?
100 yards.
You got the 100 right. Here's the snap, handoff right side. Cameron Moss is going to be close. No, they stop him right at the 1-yard line. Moss trying to go up and over the top, and a host of white jerseys there to greet him and meet him.
Well, defensively for Ravenna, I think it was Mark Jacobs that finally caught up with Cameron Moss, picked him up and drove him back. Cameron Moss got right to the goal line, and from our vantage point, I can't see any space between the ball and the goal line, so it's got to be right there knocking on the door.
And it will be 3rd down and goal from, you might as well say, the 1-inch line. Deporres, I'm sure, will go for a 2-point conversion, you would think, to tie the ball game. But that remains to be seen. They tried that on the opening drive. Of course, as we said, capped off by that 32-yard touchdown pass from Jamerson to Edwards, as I recall. And looking to get into the end zone here first. It's going to be awfully tough, and I would think that they'll probably just hand it off to Shannon McLean. It seems that he's been able to get at least a yard every time.
Well, that's what I'd do. Of course, I've been wrong on every play call in almost 3 full games here now, so you can probably look for Cameron Moss.
Wide to the right side, wide to the left, our receivers, split backs in the backfield. Moss and McLean. Here's the snap, and it's a quarterback sneak. And I don't know. I don't think he got in that time.
Oh,
One official says yes.
Boy, late call.
Real late call that time. The official on the far side of the field did not indicate it was the official on the near side that said he got in. So the quarterback sneak successful for Robert Jamerson, and a touchdown for Detroit Deporres.
Well, that touchdown must have come on about the third or fourth effort, as Robert Jameson on the quarterback sneak did not get it in on his initial thrust, bounced back up there on the line and seemed to get even farther away, and then eventually the punch-in signal by the official on our side, and it's 6 points on the board for the Eagles.
Watson, McLean, and Moss, T-backfield. Quarterback Jamerson on a two-point conversion attempt. Here's the pitch. It's going to the left side. It's a race to the corner, and Cameron Moss wins it, and they've tied it up at 14-14 here with 58 seconds remaining in the half. You can't ask for a whole lot more than this so far. It looked initially like it was going to be all St.Martain Deporres as they marched right down the field on their opening possession. Ravenna stalled on their opening possession, had to kick it away. Deporres again marched right down the field, didn't score, and then Ravenna got a hold of themselves and started putting things together, and we've got it all knotted at 14.
Well, this is going to turn into a real interesting football game, I think. Only a minute left here before halftime, but coaching at halftime may really spell the difference in this game.
Well, it's been an interesting game, I think, from the standpoint that both teams seem to run hot and cold offensively. They seem to go nowhere, make big mistakes offensively, and then all of a sudden they explode and they got the ball down on the goal line. So it's going to be interesting, all right. Mark, I think you've hit it on the head. I don't know just exactly what the adjustments might be offensively or defensively at the halftime. It's going to be interesting to watch and find out.
Cameron Moss ready to kick it off. They're letting him use the holder now on the toe, or maybe he's just holding it flat on the surface. I can't tell from here, but nevertheless they're not borrowing Ravenna's tee this time. And here's Moss's kick. A squibbler coming down, hitting on about the 20-yard line, picked up there and taken out to the 25, the 30, and tackled right there. Jeff Burles, the receiver on that one, and he brings it quickly down the field. Rupert Mann makes the stop on special teams. It'll be 1st and 10 for Ravenna. They start at their own 30-yard line with 51 seconds remaining in the first half. We were talking about the quarterback Jamerson for Deporres being big. Mark Jacobs is a little bigger, 6'3", 190, a senior. So he has a good view of that field as well. He's rolling out to the left side, wants to throw it. Now he's going to keep it and run with it back to the 30, and that's about it. Gain of a yard on the play, and that's about all. As Jacobs looked to pass at first, the southpaw rolling left, but then decided to run with it, gained about a yard, and that's it.
John, that defensive alignment for Deporres has just got to be a nightmare for offensive linemen to try to block. They are just lined up in different positions on every play. And as I said, some of them are standing, some of them are down, and it just doesn't seem to have any kind of a pattern. At the same time, they all seem to know where to go once the ball is snapped.
Last play of the first half. Here it is, and it's going to be a keeper by the quarterback Jacobs, and he'll be stopped back around the 24-yard line by Charles Williams, but that will end the first half of play. With the score all tied at 14-14 in this, the Class C state championship game. We'll remind you that Denny's is one of our sponsors on this, the Michigan High School Athletic Association Championship Football Network.
To look at Bob Williams, you might not see an obvious link between him and these young patients at a Children's Miracle Network hospital. You might not see his connection to this group of young people playing basketball for their local high schools. But what awaits Bob Williams after his day job is over has an immediate impact on this group of young men and an even longer-term one on these patients. Bob Williams is one of over 12,000 individuals across Michigan who serve over 300,000 high school student athletes as registered game officials. And now those officials are using their stripes to serve even more young people and their families who rely on Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Across the state of Michigan, the usually anonymous face of officiating is becoming more visible and having an impact on even more young lives as MHSAA registered officials become involved in Officials for Kids, a fundraising effort to underwrite specific programs as well as operational and capital expenses at Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Officials are as integral a part of high school sports as the coaches and players themselves, but generally function more in the background. The Officials for Kids program has a chance to complement the previously established Coaches for Kids and Athletes for Kids programs in a big way.
We have 12,000 registered officials with the Michigan High School Athletic Association, and none of them are stars. They're kind of behind the scenes. A well-officiated game is one in which the official isn't noticed. So we are not a bunch of stars, but we are a lot of horsepower that can make a program like Officials for Kids really have legs and accomplish great things in Michigan.
So putting a face on an official allows the public to see us in a different light than usual. We are human beings. We are parents, teachers, attorneys, your next door neighbor, grandparents. And being here, being able to give back really is very rewarding.
Officials come from all walks of life, and many have been beneficiaries of the care offered at a Children's Miracle Network facility.
Well, officials are people too, and we have members that have utilized the facilities and the help from Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And it's easy for us to get involved in a program like this when you see what the benefits are and what they actually can do for a family.
Officials for Kids began in mid-Michigan to help raise money towards the construction of a pediatric emergency room for Lansing Sparrow Hospital. It spread statewide, is initially targeting the visually impaired Olympics and the Children's Burn Camp for the DeVos Children's Hospital in Grand Rapids. Camp Reach, fighting childhood obesity with the Hurley Medical Center in Flint, and a Referees for Reading program, providing books and reading time to long-term pediatric patients at Beaumont Hospital in Detroit.
Officials for Kids is an organization that was started right here in Lansing, and because of the success of this program, it's branched off to help the other Children's Miracle Network hospitals across the state. Each program is run a little bit differently in the community that it serves, however, keeping in mind that we're all here to support children's health care.
We met with Beaumont Hospital and the Children's Miracle Network, and they identified some ideas that they had, and one of the things was a reading program. So what we decided on is a Referees for Reading program, and it was a natural fit because of officiating is really games are an extension of the classroom. So therefore, with reading and giving the kids here an actual book to be able to keep and read, we thought it was natural. Once we identified what the program was and explained to everything, it was a pretty easy thing to do, because most officials, just about all the officials, when it comes to kids and programs, everybody wants to help.
Referees for Reading is a great opportunity to give back to the community. Being here today has been very rewarding. Giving books to children and watching their faces light up, it's unparalleled. These children are confined to a certain space, and they don't get to run and play and jump. It is just very nice and very rewarding to be able to give them something.
A major mechanism Officials for Kids uses is the Give a Game program, where each official in an MHSAA Officials Association donates one game fee per year towards their local Children's Miracle Network hospital.
We've been very successful in the Give a Game program. Officials have given a game check at both basketball and football games, and we've also had some generous contributions from the fans, which all of this effort helps us with these programs that you see today.
The result has been some nice check presentations so far from a handful of local associations, but the vision is much bigger.
Just think of 12,000 officials all donating one game check per year to improve the health care of children in the state of Michigan.
The end result is officials who have long touched the lives of young people in school sports by promoting fair play and sportsmanship between the lines, an experience which provides in and of itself a lifetime of memories, will use Officials for Kids to touch the lives of a whole new group of young people, athletes and non-athletes, and give them the opportunity for a better life.
Back now with the play-by-play as we get set for half number 2, a 14-14 ball game. John Tomlinson.
Thank you, Mark. Hi again, everybody. Ravenna will be taking the opening kickoff to start the second half of play. All deadlocked, 14-14. And Ravenna crowd really come alive at halftime when the team entered the field again. And I just love that cheer, that woof, woof, woof that they... I don't know where they came up with that, but boy, that's great.
I'm glad to know what it was. I've been hearing them make noise over there, and I hadn't figured it out.
Well, there's a big sign over there. See the red sign? It says woof.
Yeah.
So I assume that's what they're saying.
Well, those Bulldogs of Ravenna.
Here's the kickoff by Moss. It goes into the end zone. It will be a touchback and will come out to the 20-yard line. Jeff Heiss downs it there. And that's where Ravenna will take it over, 1st and 10. Interesting to see if they stick with the same kind of offense that they had. I love it when they switch the wide receiver for the quarterback back and forth. It keeps us broadcasters on our toes, if nothing else.
You sort of love it, I have a feeling.
They break out of the huddle now. Lewis out over the football. McFerrin, and McFerrin are the guards. Deal and Knapp are the tackles. Power eye to the left side. Wide receiver is placed on the right. Jacobs, the quarterback, hands off, first man through. Heiss with a good step around the 20-yard line, out across the 25 and the 27. Andre Davis and Dwayne Bridie bring him down, but a good move that time by Heiss, spinning around and getting away from the tackler.
Boy, that's the now you see me, now you don't move. A beautiful move by Jeff Heiss on Darrell Wilson, the safety back there, and just gives him one leg and takes it away on the spin.
Gain of about 7 or 8 yards on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 3. The ball out across the 25 to 27-yard line. Jacobs calling signals now. Power eye to the right side. Here's the snap. Back to pass, rolling to the right side. No, and he's hit. Good shot over there by number 54, Rupert Mann, and 64, Charles Williams on the stop defensively. And Jacobs just had no place to go. Loss of about 6 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 9.
Big play, and the Deporres defense going to have to suck it up. Franciscus Mills, the big guy, the All-Stater, is still sitting on the sideline. Does not look like he will play again today.
They break the huddle now on 3rd and 9. Place goes wide to the right side. Jacobs remains the quarterback up under center. Power eye left. Here's the snap. Back to pass, rolling out the left side, throws it on the flat. It's complete at the 25-yard line, but it'll be short of the first down. Jeff Burrows hauls it in, but there to cover him, Andre Davis, the 160-pound junior linebacker, holds him in check. Gain of about 5, but not enough. It'll bring up 4th down in a punting situation for Ravenna.
Well, that defense, once again, has not changed, Mark, as far as Deporres is concerned. They're still using that 29 with a lot of different looks and very effective on this first offensive possession against the Bulldogs.
Here's the kick, and it could be a roughing the kicker, and they say no. Fair catch called for, and this time Cameron Moss holds on. Boy, the Ravenna crowd is very upset by that no call.
The Ravenna crowd's unhappy, but that's a very good no call. The man who went into the kicker was blocked in by a Ravenna player.
Well, exactly. There can be contact in that situation, as the defender did not initiate the contact. The offensive blocker took the man to the inside, and when he was hit with that contact, he was forced into the kicker. So a good call. Anytime you see your punter go down, you'd like that flag thrown, but not in that case. A good call by the officials.
Only a 30-yard punt and a fair catch will give Deporres good field position. First play from scrimmage goes off to Shannon McLean. He gets out across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. Steve Crowley comes up with a tackle along with Jeff Heiss.
Well, running offensively now behind the right side of that Deporres line. Alex Johnson at a guard, Jamel McKinney at a tackle, and Reinhard McNair at the offensive end.
Quarterback up under center. Jamison looks over the defense. Wing is on the left side. Split backs in the backfield. Hands it off Cameron Moss. A little bit of a hole out across midfield. Short of a first down out around the 47, 48-yard line. Rod Place there to make the tackle, along with Steve Crowley again, the sophomore. And it'll be 3rd and short for the Eagles.
Crowley's having a nice day for Ravenna out there. He's recovered a fumble earlier on, and he's been all over the football field wearing that number 1.
They break the huddle now. Pritchett out over the football. Split backs in the backfield. Wing is on the left side. 2 tight ends in the balance line. Jamerson calling signals. Here's the snap. Handoff straight up the middle. Running room a little for McLean, but I don't think he got that first down. There to meet him, very solid, Scott Gierzak. And I don't think he got it.
Well, what a play by Scott Gierzak that time. He got Deporres' toughest running back, Shannon McLean. He's a 210-pound sophomore going full steam and giving up 30 pounds. Scott Gierzak stood him up and backed him up.
No hesitation or reservation. Deporres will be going on it. Straight T backfield. 4th and short as Jamison calls the signal. Here's the snap. It's a quarterback's knee, and Jamison does get it. Goes right off that right guard position between Pritchett and Alex Johnson. And they both did a good job of opening that hole, and Jamison just sort of dove through there and picked up the first down yardage.
Well, no doubt about which side of the line he was going to. He took the snap and just slid over behind this guard there, Alex Johnson, as you said, John, and there was a nice seam there, and he just fell forward for about 2 yards. No doubt about the first down marker being crossed.
1st and 10, Eagles inside the 45 at the 44-yard line. Game tied 14-14, 3rd period of play. Class C state championship on the line. Cameron Moss gets the call going left. No running room at all. Got maybe a yard or a half a yard as he's hit over there initially by Scott McFerrin and Brian McFerrin.
Helped by Burrows as well over there for Ravenna. 5'9", 150-pound strong safety up on the tackle.
2nd down, 9 yards to go. The ball at the 43-yard line. Deporres breaks the huddle now. They'll keep everybody in close this time. Wing is on the left side. Split backs in the backfield. Here's the snap. Jamerson back to pass. Quick one over the middle. Looking wide open that time was Stephen Haynes, and Jamerson just couldn't hit him. That had touchdown written all over it had he connected on that pass.
Well, Steve Haynes ran the little post pattern right into the middle, and there was nobody there, just green all the way to the end zone. And that time Robert Jamison, who's thrown the ball very well in this football game, just plain missed him.
3rd down, 9 yards to go for the first down. Deporres in control of the football at this time. Game tied 14-14. Haynes goes wide to the left side. Wing is on the left. I formation in the backfield. Back to pass again. Jamerson looking downfield. Throws it out in the flat to Moss. Gets away from one man. Dances around. Still on his feet. And a good open field tackle by Steve Crowley. I tell you, Moss had every intention of going all over that field, and Crowley just dug in there and got him right around the ankles and held him.
Well, just a short little outside pass there, kind of a safety valve situation. But when you give it to Cameron Moss, it shouldn't be called a safety valve. It's almost like an explosion waiting to happen, as he put a move on the first defensive man and almost put a move on Steve Crowley. But Crowley got him right around the ankle and was able to bring him down.
4th and 6, and Deporres is going for it at the 40-yard line. Straight T backfield. Here's the snap. Handoff right side. No, he does not make it. In fact, he is well short. Almost tackled for a loss that time. Gets away from one man, but finally tackled up around the 37-yard line. And it will be Ravenna's ball on the turnover.
And a quick word. We've been talking about Deporres underclassmen and how they got freshmen and sophomores and juniors on this club. The big plays made by Ravenna in that last series defensively, both by sophomores. Gierzak, a sophomore. Crowley, a sophomore.
Ravenna will have the football. 1st and 10 in their own territory at the 37-yard line. They break the huddle. Rod Place is the quarterback. Mark Jacobs split wide to the left. Place back to pass. Good protection. Looking downfield. Throws up a long one intended, and it's almost caught by Jacobs. Jacobs at the 30-yard line had to hold up a little bit and just wait on it. He did have a step on the defenders. It was just slightly underthrown and incomplete.
Well, Mark Jacobs really well behind the defenders that time, was wide open, and as you called it, John, the ball thrown just a little bit short, or we'd have had 6 points again for the Ravenna Bulldogs that time. Boy, the receiver just did not seem to be in the vision area of the quarterback, Rod Place, that time. And boy, it could have been had they seen each other and connected. Certainly Mark Jacobs ran an excellent pattern.
Jacobs will play quarterback this time. Place goes wide to the right side. Power I formation to the left. Now the man in motion is Kevin Poffenbarger. Back to pass. It's going to be a screen to the left. Read perfectly, but he gets away from one man. High screen, high street, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, and out of bounds about the 43, 42-yard line. Good job of Heiss getting away from the initial tackler behind the line of scrimmage. Big time pressure on quarterback Jacobs, a gain of 21 yards on the screen pass from Jacobs to Heiss.
Boy, you're right. A great run by Jeff Heiss, but a great job by quarterback Mark Jacobs as well, as the pressure was coming fast and furious, and he had the presence of mind to just make the quick little step, turn the football out, get it in the hands of Jeff Heiss. Super play by quarterback Mark Jacobs, and a great run by Jeff Heiss as well.
And how about the call by the coach? Good call, I would say, as the pressure has been on all day. That little screen getting him open on the right. I formation, power left. Here's the snap, rolling out to the left side. Jacobs, he's going to run with it. He's at the 40, down to the 35, and out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Gain of about 7 or 8 yards on the play for quarterback Mark Jacobs, who has averaged over 10 yards per rush on the regular season.
Well, I got a feeling that Deporres is already tired of seeing Mark Jacobs. He's doing everything out here. He's playing some defense. He's worked a great game at quarterback. He's running with the football. He'll run the long pass patterns and score touchdowns for you that way. Great athlete.
2nd and 2, Ravenna. They have the football now in Deporres territory at the 34-yard line. They break the huddle. Lewis out over the football. McFerrin's are guards. Knapp and Deal are the tackles. Power I formation to the right side. Jacobs, the quarterback, calls the signal. Back to pass, looking downfield. Cocks his arm. Throws up a long one. He's got a man open. Just overthrew him. Intended down there for Steve Crawley around the 10-yard line. Got his feet tangled up a little bit with Steve Haynes, the defender, but the ball was just over his outstretched arms, and it'll be 3rd down and 2.
Once again, the receiver behind the defensive back. Steve Crowley this time running his flag pattern across the middle and then going deep with it. And he had a step on the defensive back. And once again, Mark Jacobs just could not quite connect with him on the pass.
Well, Rick Berkey predicts the bootleg here. He says every time it's 3rd and 2 or 3 or 4, it's the bootleg, and we'll see if it is. No, he hands off right side. Heiss. Heiss gets first down yardage. Inside the 30 at the 29, Darrell Wilson and Damaris Clark on the stop. So quarterback Jacobs, Rick Berkey said, "Don't look at me."
Rick Berkey, I think, went to the same place calling school as Mark Crawford.
I was going to say, I'm feeling a lot better about this now. I knew they'd give it to Heiss all along there.
1st and 10 again for the Bulldogs from Ravenna. It's all tied, 14-14, 4:41 remaining in the 3rd period. Wide to the right side, Rod plays power I formation to the left. Tight end is on the left side, man in motion now is Kevin Poffengardt. Back to pass, looking downfield. Jacobs got a man open in the flat, throws it neatly broken up, however, over there by number 15, Andre Davis. And it'll fall incomplete and bring up 2nd and 10 from the 30.
Well, Andre Davis plays it just the way coaches like Bill Brandell teach it. You stand back there and you backpedal and you follow the receiver, and when the quarterback throws, you commit to the football and knock it down.
Well, not only that, you get one hand in front and knock it down and the other hand behind, so that just in case you don't knock it down, you still make the tackle. And Andre Davis did just exactly that. Just a junior, 5'9", 160-pounder.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. The ball at the 30-yard line. Ravenna with the ball. Here's the snap. Handoff right side. Heiss the ball carrier. Gets a couple and then is met by 2 defenders solidly. Coming up and making the stop, Jamel McKinney was one of them. And getting up off the bottom of the pile defensively is number 8, Darrell Wilson. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 8 or 9 situation now for the Bulldogs from Ravenna as they're inside the 30 at about the 28.5-yard line.
Well, 3rd down again, Rick. Are we going to see the rollout here by the quarterback, or are we going to get away from that call?
Too far, he says, too much yardage, so we'll see what happens. Power I to the right side, 2 tight ends in a balanced line. Jacobs calling signals. Here's the snap. Back to pass, looking downfield, getting pressure, gets away from one man now to run outside. He's got to hurry. He's at the 40, throws it up, and it is incomplete. Broken up along the sideline there by Steve Haynes, intended for Steve Crawley. And I'll tell you, Mark Jacobs had to run for his life that time. I believe it was Jamel McKinney, number 72, that was chasing him.
I saw Alex Johnson, number 55, also legging it after him, but I don't think Johnson was going to catch Mark Jacobs. Jacobs got to the sideline, didn't want to go out of bounds with it, rifled it along the sidelines. Not much of a chance for anybody to catch that one.
Well, Ravenna gets a chance at 4th down of their own, 4th and 9. Here's the snap, back to pass. And Place was the quarterback. He threw it up, intended for Mark Jacobs on the flip-flop. And it falls up successful, and the ball will go back over to Deporres.
I think it was an interception. I think Stephen Haynes gets credit for the interception there. He's falling to the turf with the football, but Haynes with the interception, I think, steps in and intercepts the football.
Either way, it goes back over to Deporres.
Yeah, actually cost Deporres 3-4 yards there.
I did not pick up on him catching that football. 1st and 10, Deporres. Wing is on the left side. 2 tight ends in a balanced line. Split backs in the backfield. Here's the snap. Jamerson hands off. Right side. Little or no running room at all. I believe McLean the ball carrier. Randy Deal and Dave Randall on the stop. Also Scott McFerrin.
The defense for Ravenna running a little bit of what I describe as a deal up inside. That's where the linebackers and the down linemen kind of change positions, cross positions at the snap of the ball. And that, of course, designed to confuse the offensive blocking from Deporres. And with Deporres having the size advantage that they do, that's been effective.
Jamerson back to pass, looking downfield for protection, cocks his arm, throws up a long one. It could be and will not be intercepted. Very, very close. Rod Place had a good beat on that one, was well overthrown. The intended receiver, Stephen Haynes, on that. But I think Jamerson and Haynes might have got mixed up as to which way he was to turn, because the receiver went inside, the ball went outside.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the receiver was supposed to read the coverage and make a turn or what, but Jamerson real clearly wasn't throwing where the receiver was running.
So this game has kind of been played between the 20s here in the second half. Both teams going for a 4th down in the opposite territory, failing it, and now Deporres has it back again by virtue of that 4th down and an interception. Straight T backfield, pitch back left side. Cameron Moss, the ball carrier, tries to get to the outside. He does. 35-40 and out of bounds around the 42-yard line. But 1st down yardage for Cameron Moss. Mark Jacobs finally runs him out of bounds, but how explosive is that when Moss gets outside? A pickup of 15 on that one.
Well, the old student body sweep as Moss took the pitch, had a couple of his fellow backs out there leading the play, as well as the quarterback, a guard or two pulling out there, and as they say, student body right. You just get out there, get behind a group of people, find yourself a slot, and turn it upfield.
They spot the ball right on the 45-yard line. 1st and 10, Detroit Deporres, the Eagles on the move. Jamerson up under center now, calling signals. Here's the snap. Handoff inside to the wingback coming across to Maris Clark, but he'll be stopped immediately by Randy Deal. In a good defensive play, no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, wrong place to run the ball, right at Randy Deal. 6'2", 270 pounds and a senior, and he wrapped those big arms around the ball carrier, and that was it.
14-14, 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd period of play. Deporres with the ball. Ravenna on the D right now. They're at the 45-yard line in Deporres territory. They send Haynes wide to the left side. Wing is on the left. I formation in the backfield. Here's the snap. Back to pass. Jamerson throws it out in the flat. Tipped away and almost intercepted. Getting his hands up and knocking it down. Number 21 defensively, Kevin Poffenbarger. Let's pause 10 seconds. Allow our stations along the way to identify themselves. You're listening to Michigan Sports Services, a division of the Great Lakes Media Group. Third and 10 Eagles. They have the ball in their own territory at the 45-yard line. All tied 14-14 here on state championship day at the Pontiac Silverdome. Jamerson calling signals, back to pass, looking downfield, throws it up, and it is complete inside the 50, short of 1st down yardage at about the 48-yard line. Completed out there to Randy Huggins, his first action with the ball today. Steve Crowley right there to put a good solid hit on him and prevent him from getting that 1st down. And we'll see if Coach Thompson wants to go for it here. He's right around midfield. It's 4th down and about 3.
Well, one of those questionable situations again. Do you or don't you? And, of course, time running down, a state championship game. Just 1 minute now left in this 3rd quarter.
Cameron Moss coming back into the ball game, and he'll be doing the punting, at least lining up in punt formation. I'd watch him here. Missing a player, and finally they get the the other guy out there, Dante Watson, and a flag will go down. Too much time against Deporres. That'll back him up 5 to the other side of the 50-yard line. And if they had any intention at all of faking it, it's probably out the window now.
That might change your mind, I think, that 5-yard penalty. And they were lining up for the punt. It was going to come from punt formation, obviously. We didn't know whether they had called the fake or not, but they were missing one player out there and needed to get a man out. Couldn't wait long enough. Called for delay of game.
Mark Jacobs standing back at about the 25-yard line to receive it. They are going to fake it. Cameron Moss loses the football. There's a scramble for it. It's picked up at the 25, inside the 25, down to the 22-yard line. Scott Gierzak picks it up and takes it down. A flag is on the play all over the place. We'll see what that is. It was a fake. Cameron Moss was going to take off with it, but couldn't hold on to it.
I don't think it was a fake, John. I think Cameron Moss just saw the pressure coming and pulled up. I think he was going to kick the ball.
Well, I don't know. He did not take a step towards the line like he was going to kick it, but you may be right. Nevertheless, it's a legal procedure against Deporres decline, and it will be excellent field position for the Ravenna Bulldogs.
Well, I thought the snap was extremely high that time, and Cameron Moss came down with the ball. He had to leap to get it, and I'm going to have to agree with Mark. There were 2 Ravenna Bulldogs breathing right down his neck. I think he saw that pressure and decided, I'm going to see if I can get out of here with this. And you called it, John. He forgot something, the ball.
Well, Scott Gierzak found it, gave it to his team in good field position. Handoff Heist this time. Straight up the middle, gets it to the 20, gain of about 2. It'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Well, I'll mention something again that I mentioned way back in the first quarter. Ravenna, only 4 turnovers all year. Simply do not make mistakes that beat them. And they're playing a great, clean football game out here. And although they've been outgained up and down the field by Deporres, Ravenna's very much in this one.
Ed Lewis out over the football. They send Rod Place wide to the right side. Power I formation left in the backfield, and that's the end of the 3rd period, ladies and gentlemen. The score, Deporres 14, Ravenna 14. We'll be back after remind you that Denny's is one of our sponsors on this, the Michigan High School Athletic Association Championship Football Network. Glad to have you with us wherever you may be listening in. We've got a good one going here. 14-14 with 1 period to play, and Ravenna's knocking on the door at the 21-yard line. Jacobs under center with pace wide to the left side. Man in motion now. Here's the snap. Handoff. Heist left side. Little hole. Gets inside the 15 down around the 13-yard line before Andre Davis and Darrell Wilson bring him down. Gain of about 7, maybe 8 yards on the line.
Well, and you had the call just right, John. Little hole, but small as that hole was, Jeff Heist just kind of slanted the shoulders, got himself through there quickly with the fast step and the acceleration, and made a good gainer out of it.
3rd down and about a yard to go for the first down now as they spot it at the 13.5-yard line. Ravenna with the football. All tied up, 14-14. Rod Place goes wide to the left side. Tight end is on the right side. Power I to the right. Man in motion now is Burrows. Here's the snap and flags on the play. Prior to the snap, delay of game. They did not get it off in time, and that is a big, big penalty.
Boy, is that a herder right there for Ravenna. They were looking at 3rd down and a long one, football inside the 15-yard line, and they take a chance not just on pushing themselves back and making it a long 3rd down play, but maybe knocking themselves out of field goal range in a tie ball game in the 4th quarter for the state title.
Only their 2nd penalty of the ball game. Should recall one was a face mask 15-yarder, and now this delay of game 5. And it probably couldn't come at a worse time. 3rd and a long 6. Jacobs under center, rolling out to the left side, going to keep it. Dives up towards the 15-yard line, does not make it. Will be short of the first down. They'll spot it around the 15. It'll bring up 4th and 3. Andre Davis on the stop along with a host of others. Timeout on the field. 11:05 remaining in the game. Deporres 14, Ravenna 14. We'll be back after this word on the MHSAA Football Network. Back live at the Dome. Ravenna will be trying a field goal. They'll spot it at about the 22-yard line. Rod Place will be kicking it. It's placed. It's up. It's low and no good. It is no good. and that will give the ball back to Deporres. And Rod Place, that was his distance. He's 2 for 2 from 31 to 40 yards on the season, and this would have been a 32-yard field goal, but it was kicked into the backs of his own players. Did not even have a chance.
Yeah, I guess, John, you call that a blocked kick, but whoever blocked it, I don't think had any idea they ever blocked it.
Might have been one of his own men, in fact, because it was very, very low.
Yeah, the football never got more than 3-4 feet off the ground and right into the line of scrimmage and off somebody's back. I thought for a minute it might carry him up and over.
Deporres has the football now. Wing is on the left side. Split backs in the backfield. They'll take it at their own 20-yard line. Back to pass immediately. Jamerson looking downfield out in the flat. Throws it. It is complete. He gets away from one man on his feet at the 30. Drops the football. Picks it up again. Still running across the 40 out to the 42-yard line. Good job that time by Damaris Clark. Rod Place, 22 yards on the pass play from Jamerson to Damaris Clark.
Well, I thought he might be called for a double dribble on that one. He made a great move out there on the defensive back. And once again, a situation where he forgot to take the ball with him, but he got the good bounce off the artificial surface, picked it up, and made a few more yards. Great run, great move by Damaris Clark.
Here's the snap again, handoff right side. McLean, the ball carrier, gets it out across the 40 to around the 43 or 44-yard line. Pick up with 2 or 3 yards on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 8 situation. They're leading the charge, Kevin Poffenbarger for the Ravenna Bulldogs. This one's far from being over, my friends. 14-14, 10-15 remaining in this contest. Missed 32-yard field goal. And now Deporres with the ball. Here's the snap, pitch back left side. Cameron Moss, the ball carrier, cannot find any running room at all. And if they haven't done anything else, certainly Ravenna has done a good job of containing Mr. Moss this afternoon.
Well, defensively, they have just bottled him up. And I'm surprised at that because Deporres came in with the reputation of having such quickness and such speed that nobody could stay up with him. Well, the Bulldogs from Ravenna have definitely done that.
Ice, Randall, and Burles on the tackle, excuse me.
No, I was just going to say, you kind of get the feeling that Deporres is going to explode, but they just haven't been able to light the fuse so far.
Here's the snap, back to pass. Jamerson looking downfield on 3rd and long. Gets it away, it's complete over the middle. And it'll be close to first down yardage for the sophomore Shannon McLean. He's got it inside the 50 down to around the 47-yard line. Brian McFerrin and Steve Crawley on the stop. And that's what you call a delivery sack, too, as Jamerson was really hammered as he delivered that ball.
Kevin Poffenbarger hit him, and I sure don't know about this injury to the shoulder we keep hearing about with Robert Jamerson because he took a pop.
A real good shot that time and came right back up for more. Split backs in the backfield. Wing is on the left side. 1st and 10 again for Detroit Deporres. Here's the snap. Handoff left side. Cameron Moss, the ball carrier, trying to get to the outside and is ridden out of bounds. They'll spot it at about the 42-yard line. Gain of about 5 or 6. Rod Place finally rode him out of bounds. 2nd down. Short 5, long 4, depending on how you want to look at it, for Deporres, with this game tied 8:54 remaining in the contest.
For the first time today, I seem to notice that both teams look a little fatigued. It could be very warm down there, as obviously we're inside. Both teams a little slow.
Here's the snap, handoff right side. Straight ahead running by Dante Watson. He gets it across the 40 down to around the 35-36, where Scott Gierzak and Dale Randall bring him down. And he'll be very close to first down yardage. I think he got it. He did. Another first down, and that's a whole bunch. 16 first downs on the day for Detroit Deporres. They break the huddle now, taking little time at all in that huddle, keeping the clock moving and the ball at this point. Jamerson barks the signals with the I formation. Handoff left side. The big fullback, Shannon McLean, charges ahead. Jeff Burles there to meet him, but not before he picks up about 5 yards on the play, maybe 4. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 5. The ball inside the 35 at the 32-yard line. Deporres going from our right to our left and on the move. This series of downs started at their own 20-yard line, and they're now approaching the 30 of Ravenna. Wing is on the left side. Two tight ends in a balanced line. I formation in the backfield. Hand off to the right. Moss, the ball carrier. Cameron gets it inside the 30, down around the 28-yard line, and Coach Ron Thompson just grinding it out right now.
Very neat, very clean drive for Deporres after stopping Ravenna's field goal attempt the other way. And the Eagles are threatening to march it down here and tack that lead score up on the board midway through quarter 4.
Roland Pritchett leads them out of the huddle out over the football. Straight T backfield on 3rd and short. Jemerson calling the signal. Here's the snap. Handoff left. Running room for Cameron Moss. In fact, tripped up at the last minute, or he'd have been on his high horse away to the end zone. Jeff Heiss getting an arm out and bringing him down. And Moss will leave the ballgame for a substitute. Coming in, Dante Watson bringing a play from the sidelines, but another first down for Deporres. Ball is on the left hash mark just outside the 20-yard line at the 22. Straight T backfield, 2 tight ends in a balanced line. Jemerson under center calling signal. Here's the snap. Hands off left side. The fullback going straight ahead. Shannon McLean, and boy does he go down hard. Jeff Burrows finally puts the finishing touch on that tackle.
Shannon McLean just does not run like a sophomore. He's 6'1" and 210 pounds, but you said it all along. He just seems to hit up in there, take people with him, and always gets an extra 3-4 yards before the second man comes in to bring him down.
2nd and 8 Eagles. It's time for the Ravenna Bulldog defense to stiffen right here. Here's the snap, handoff left side. Again, it's McLean. No, Moss's got running room, 15-10. Out of bounds, they'll mark. He stepped out about the 11-yard line. And boy, when he sees that outside lane open up, he is gone.
Some of those backs have that sixth sense. They turn upfield and smell that end zone, I think. And you're right. They just seem to get some extra adrenaline as the blue, as it is here in this situation, comes into view. And boy, the extra speed just comes alive, and away they go.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 11-yard line of Ravenna, threatening to break this 14-14 deadlock here in the 4th period. Handoff left side. No running room at all for Mr. McLean, as he's met there by Jeff Burrows and a host of Ravenna white jerseys. Also getting up off the bottom of the pile, Scott McFerrin, the 172-pound senior, who's been mixing it up in there pretty good today.
Well, that defense has been out there for quite a while now in this 4th quarter. And the Bulldogs need to stiffen right here as the 2nd down and long situation faces the Eagles.
Ball's at the 10-yard line. 9 for the first down, 10 for the touchdown. Handoff, Cameron Moss up the middle, fights his way down to the 5-yard line. They'll spot it just outside the 5, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 for the first down, 5 for the touchdown. Joe Knapp, the 200-pound senior, on the stop defensively. And we've got an injured Bulldog on the turf, and it looks like it may be Jeff Heiss, number 24, the senior, and that would hurt them. He's been a big plus for them on both sides of the ball today.
It's a shoulder or an arm. Can't tell exactly which. Looks like the left shoulder or the left arm. And Heiss would appear to be in some kind of pain down there.
Well, he's up on one knee, and I think you've hit it on the head. It's some type of upper body injury, an arm or a shoulder. Many times when that situation occurs, it's a pinched nerve in the back of the neck and in the shoulder, and it causes your whole side to kind of go numb on you with a tingling, kind of racing pain sensation that goes up and down the arm. And very, very discomforting, to say the least, when that happens. But happens quite often in football. And the amazing thing about it, as much as it does hurt, just as quickly it's gone. And you can come back into the ball game and be just as effective as before.
Heiss leaves the field under his own power with trainers on either side of him. Head coach Dusty Fairfield out there as well, and we'll see if in fact he does come back. He's going to go take a seat on the bench and receive a little attention. Down and 4 from the 5-yard line. I formation, wing on the left side. Here's the snap. Handoff left side. Cameron Moss battles his way forward. He'll be short of the first down, and it's going to be a 4th and short situation. Real short for the first down, and about a yard or 2 yards, I should say, for the touchdown. So a very, very big play coming up here, both for the Deporres Eagles offense and, more importantly, maybe for the Ravenna Bulldog defense, because should they allow them to get into the end zone, there's 4:56 remaining, a tall order to come back and score, but obviously it's been done twice already today. Two tight ends in a balanced line, straight T backfield. Here's the snap, handoff left side. I don't believe he got into the end zone. He did not, but I'm not sure if he got the first down or not either. The ball was given to Shannon McLean. We'll see where they mark it. It's obviously going to be very close. They needed to get inside the 2-yard line to about the 1.5-yard line, and I don't think he made it from where the spot. It's very hard to tell from up here.
It's a real tough angle, but I'm with you, and the Ravenna players sure don't think he made it. I see them waving it off.
What a super defensive play if they held him, Bill.
Well, they were looking for Mr. McLean there, the big guy, to come rumbling up in the middle, and they got their wish, and they were in the right spot at the right time. Here comes the mark now, and we'll see one of these sides go up in a big cheer, and it is Ravenna. They have held in a very crucial situation.
Wow, can you believe that, with the football at the 5-yard line, and they hold them 4 consecutive plays? Unbelievable, or 3, I should say, after they did make it to the 5. And Ravenna will take over. Now they have to be very careful about the safety.
I was going to say, the tall order really isn't over yet for the Bulldogs of Ravenna. Yes, they've held Deporres, but now with about 4.5 minutes to play, they're stuck back at their own 1-yard line. No room for any kind of mistake.
Poffenberger is in the ball game, replacing Heiss, who has not come back in yet. Here's the snap, and I'll tell you, Jacobs was very lucky to get out of there.
And there was a loose ball on that situation. I'm not sure when it came loose, but quarterback just taking the ball and trying to get out of the end zone that time, and was hit very hard, and the ball popped loose, but Ravenna remains with possession, but the ball's still at the 1-yard line.
Randy Huggins put the pop that time on Mark Jacobs as he was scrambling to try to get out of there. Jacobs up under center now, looks up and down that line. Here's the snap. Back to pass, rolling to the left side, being chased out there, throws up a pass intended for Crawley, and just overthrown at about the 25 or 30-yard line. And again, Jacobs running for his life in that end zone. It'll be 3rd and 10, the ball at the 1-yard line.
There's some guts football for you by Dusty Fairfield and the Bulldogs, backed up in their own end zone, and they sure don't want to lose this ball game on a safety. They still send Jacobs, the quarterback. Go ahead, let him throw the football in the direction of Steve Crowley. Stops the clock with 3:40. That's the one bad bit of news for the Bulldog fans, and they've got 3rd and very long.
Chance for a quick kick here.
Boy, that would be
I tell you, that's not a bad call.
Not a bad call.
Power eye right, quarterback up under center. We'll see what happens. Back to pass, looking downfield, dancing around. He better get rid of it. He throws it up, and it's incomplete. And he almost got sacked in the end zone. Took a real good shot at the end of that play after delivering the ball from Charlie Williams, the 170-pound junior. And we'll see what happens here.
Well, this is a key situation now as Ravenna forced to punt, and their obvious punt formation is going to be shortened as they are sitting with the ball at the 1-yard line. Normally a punter likes to be about 15 yards back when he catches the snap, and of course there is not that much room for the punter to get back now. Punter Mark Jacobs has got to shorten that, and he's got to get the ball off quickly.
He gets it away, and a pretty good kick. Coming down, Moss will take it at about the 40-yard line. Brings it up to the 35, the 30, down to the 25, gets away from one man, and at the 20-yard line. And so St.Martain Deporres will come up with excellent field possession inside the 20 at the 19, a 38-yard punt that time under pressure by Jacobs. Brian McFerrin on the tackle. What is the procedure in high school state championships for a tiebreaker? Is that they take it at the 10-yard line just like any other high school game?
Yep, we play overtime, go 4 downs and 4 downs and 4 downs and 4 downs forever if we have to.
Straight T backfield, Jamerson up under center, 2 tight ends in a balanced line. Deporres at the 19-yard line of Ravenna. Pitch back going to the left side. Diving forward is Cameron Moss. They'll spot him down inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. Jeff Heiss back in the ball game on the tackle defensively.
Well, the defense for the Bulldogs, once again, going to be called on here. A very difficult situation. One thing in their favor is that Deporres really is not a good place-kicking team. They have not gone to the field goal. In fact, very seldom do they even kick their extra points. So that this is really touchdown situation for the Eagles.
Straight T backfield once again. Handoff, first man through. Big opening that time for the big guy. Shannon McLean gets it inside the 10, down to around the 7-yard line. First down yardage, I believe, and it'll be first and goal again for St.Martain Deporres, and a pretty tall order for Ravenna Bulldogs to handle them again on that first and goal situation. McFerrin and Cantola on the tackle defensively.
Well, the ball is going to be marked right at the 8-yard line, and John, you've hit it on the head. 4 down territory, obviously, so it's 4 cracks at that Ravenna defense for the Deporres Eagles.
Moss with 21 carries, 73 yards on the day. We'll get another opportunity to race to the corner, and he'll be in. Touchdown, Cameron Moss. Being chased over there by Jeff Heiss, but Heiss just could not get the angle. And Cameron Moss takes it in. The 180-pound senior with 2:01 remaining. Deporres has broken this 14-14 tie to go up 2014. Now, all important 2-point conversion, because it's almost automatic for Ravenna to kick the extra point if they miss it and Ravenna gets in the end zone. If they make it, obviously Ravenna, I'm sure, will go for it as well. Straight T backfield. Jamerson up under center, calling center. 2 tight ends in the balance line. Handoff left side. In for the extra point goes number 20, Dante Watson. So with 2:01 remaining, Deporres 22, Ravenna 14. We'll be back after this word on the MHSAA Football Network. Cameron Moss kicks it up. Ravenna takes it at the 8-yard line, at the 10, the 15. Now it's short of the 20-yard line around the 17, and that's where Ravenna will be taking possession. Randy Huggins, Rupert Mann, and a host of other dark jerseys on the tackle. And they're going to be 85, 83, 82 yards away from pay dirt.
Well, Ravenna fans, I'm sure, weren't happy to see Deporres score, but on the bright side, Deporres scored quickly from down there first and goal. Could have taken them 3 or 4 plays, and they'd have left no time for the Bulldogs. Instead, there's almost 2 minutes left.
Back to pass, Place looking downfield, throws it out the flat, complete to Heiss. Heiss running right, got running room up to 25, to 30, to 35, across the 35-yard line. First down yardage and more for Heiss from Place. And a good play call that time, 18-yard gain. Charles Hunter and Alex Johnson on the tackle defensively.
Well, once again, we see that quarterback switch by the Bulldogs from Ravenna as Rod Place comes in at quarterback, and his place is taken by Mark Jacobs. Normally, he throws the ball to Jacobs. This time, he changed it up, picked out another receiver, and a very effective pass play.
Ravenna breaks out of it now. Lewis out over the football. McFerrin the guards. Deal and Knapp are the tackles. Man in motion. Here's the snap. Jacobs rolling left, looking downfield, rolling right rather. Throws up a long pass. It's going to be incomplete. Good defensive coverage that time by Andre Davis, step for step with Kevin Hoffenbarger. And that ball was thrown a long ways and right on the money.
Well, Mark Jacobs delivered the ball back in at quarterback on that play, and you were right. He let that one fly a long ways inside here, and hoping that Kevin Poffenbarger could get loose and get under the ball, but couldn't quite connect.
1:08 remaining. Ravenna has 1 timeout. Handoff straight up the middle. No running room at all. Not what you want to see in this situation. Flags on the play, however. We'll check that for you. It was 2nd and 10. The ball just out across the 35 at the 36-yard line. 64 yards from pay dirt.
Well, and the only good that could have come out of that play right there is a face mask, and that's exactly what Ravenna gets, is a face mask call, and Dusty Fairfield gets a break after a coaching call that did not work at all. He'll get the big penalty to take the football across midfield.
right now in Deporres territory. Ravenna with 1:01 on the clock, trailing by 8, 22-14. The 5th penalty of the ball game against St.Martain Deporres. Wide to the left side, Place. Everybody else in tight. I formation in the backfield. Jacobs on a reverse now. Will give it to Place. He's looking downfield. Can't find anybody. He's going to throw it up long. Intended for Crowley. He can't stay in bounds. It falls incomplete at around the 15-yard line.
Rod Place could have run that football for about 20 yards and finally gone out of bounds. He had his man covered downfield, and I guess with a little hindsight, maybe you'd like Rod Place to go ahead and keep the football, take it up the sideline, and step out of bounds, but throws the incomplete pass.
Stops the clock, 48 seconds remaining. Place is in at quarterback now. Out to the left side, 3 men. He goes straight back to pass, getting pressured, throws it off to the right side, incomplete. Had to be thinking intentional grounding there for a moment because there wasn't many white jerseys around that, and the ones that were wearing big numbers.
I was thinking the same thing as I looked around to see if I could find a potential receiver. Saw none, but Place really had to get rid of it in a hurry.
Scott Gierzak was in the area. I think it was going to be a center screen, and Gierzak was caught in the middle of all those 60s and 50s and 70s on the line.
Ravenna now 3rd and 10, just inside the 50 at the 49-yard line, trailing 22-14, 45 seconds remaining in the ball game. Power I formation, man in motion, Poffenbarger. Back to pass, throwing out in the flat, complete to Heiss. Tries to get away from one man, he doesn't. Good defensive play by Deporres. Coming up and making that stop, Damaris Clark, the junior. And it's going to bring him up 4th down and about 20. They approach the line of scrimmage now. And here we go. 4th and a whole bunch. Quarterback is Rod Place. He goes straight back to pass, looking downfield, throws it out, incomplete, intended out there for Mark Jacobs, and that'll be all she wrote for this one.
It was going to be a flea flicker. They tossed it out there to Jacobs, and they had Heiss running around behind him. He was going to take the pass and shovel it to his tailback, and the pass simply thrown too short.
It would have been interesting to see what happened had he completed that.
Looked like it was fairly well covered. Heiss had one of the Deporres players running along with him, and there was at least one other Deporres Eagle back there in kind of a free safety spot. I don't think they'd have scored, maybe got the first down.
Deporres 22, Ravenna 14. Deporres simply now will run out the clock. Ravenna cannot stop it. Here's the snap. Goes down on one knee. Does the quarterback, Jamerson, and I believe that will be the last play of the football game.
Well, less than 25 on the clock and no timeouts left for Ravenna, John, so I think you hit it on the head. I think that's the last time the ball's going to be snapped.
St.Martain Deporres will be state champions Class C. They have defeated Ravenna 22-14. That wraps another one here today. One more game to go. Remind you that Paul Romanowski has been our spotter, John Salab has been our statistician, Larry Sluggo-Stahl, our engineer here in the stadium, L.D. Reynolds and Jimmy Rell back in the studio. Our thanks to those gentlemen for making this one possible. Stay tuned as Rick Berkey will join Bill Brandell and Mark Crawford for your post-game festivities on this, the MHSAA Championship Football Network.
Bulldogs of Ravenna, accepting the trophy, Coach Rusty Thompson. And now, Mr. Grimes will present the Class C Championship Trophy to the Eagles of St.Martain Deporres. Accepting the championship trophy, Coach Ron Thompson.